Okay, Tzarayim Tov. Everybody who's here live and in Zoom land. Today is the 21st day of Shivat. We're closing in. Soon it's going to be Rosh Chodesh. We're benching the new month of Adar, this Shabbos. Baruch Hashem. And we're in the middle of a discussion of arrogance. And we discussed the way to fight arrogance already. And we also discussed this idea of holy arrogance, where a person is supposed to have a certain degree of self-esteem. And then we're in the middle, on page Pei Aleph, subsection Beis. We just started it. That says you shouldn't consider other people, so to speak, and be careful from externals. So we're going to get into the deep. We just started that a few minutes yesterday, but don't worry about what people are going to say about you. And when you're doing something that Hashem wants you to do, just imagine that only you or him are in the world, and you're just looking to please him. Now, again, you're not trying to actively do a chilul Hashem, God forbid, but you want to do things the way Hashem wants you to do it. And that will take into consideration that you shouldn't do it in a terrible, disgusting way, that people should get turned off from what you're doing. But you're not doing it for anybody's approval, per se. So now we're going to dig into this. Ubefrat, and especially, if you are influencing others, you're trying to help others. Be really careful. What you're going to give, you're not giving yourself or what you have to them, but you're giving what Hashem gave you to others. You have to remember, what are you giving them? Whatever is money, if it's Torah, if it's time, you're not giving them anything. You are just the vessel of giving that which Hashem has given you to give. And it's not your job to take note at all if the receivers even value what you are giving them. They may not want what you're giving them. It doesn't matter. If Hashem's will is that you should give it to them, you have to give it to them. You always have to make sure if it's Hashem's will. It's a very important thing. Remember, if you are just a utensil, it's not that you decided. It's that you figured this is what Hashem wants. So now you got to give, because you're in the place of Hashem giving, and it doesn't matter if those people, quote unquote, appreciate it or say, what are you bothering giving to me? Not to worry. Footnote Kufya Dalet. Don't listen to the voice of the Satan. He's speaking as if he is for the sake of heaven. He's trying to pretend that what he's telling you is what Hashem wants, but it's not. And he says, you should think about this. Will the world accept what you're doing and say? You think they'll listen to me or not? How I should know, how I should continue to try to bring merit to the people. After all, they're going to receive it. And you got to be awfully careful. It's a very delicate balance, because a lot of times people don't want to receive what you're telling. Not all the time it's a popular position. Eliyahu Hanavi was telling the people to stop worshiping idols. Now, if he was worried about public opinion, he wouldn't be saying anything. You think it's bad now with the Democrats and Trump? It was worse in the times of Achav. In Eretz Yisrael, everybody was worshiping idols. And if you dared go against him, it was more than that you were taken off of Facebook. They took your face off. That's what they killed you. So Leo knew he was not giving a popular opinion, but he knows that this is the will of Hashem. He was correct. But the answer is no, you don't want to do this. You don't want to get them upset. You got to be careful They might kill you, they might this, they might that. It's going to be a terrible choshen. He says, what are you talking about? They're worshiping idols. I'm sorry, this is not acceptable in Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to make a curse that's going to be no rain for years till they do tshuva. He was not a popular guy, Elio. But it's like they didn't exist. I don't care if they nominate me for the Nobel Peace Prize. I have to know that this is the will of Hashem. But the HR is going to tell you to be careful. It's so important. Rather go in the ways of the righteous. They never did one movement in order to find favor in other people's eyes. They never did it a little different, so it will be more acceptable by other people if it's wrong. Again, I'm not denying, when you give Musar, you have to give Musar in the right way. You just can't say, you dummy, why are you doing this? And you insult them and you expect them to do tshuva. No, that's not the way Hashem wants you to do it either. But often when you have to tell people something, they don't want to hear it. And you got to try to say it when it is appropriate and it's necessary, or whatever it is. What if a person doesn't want your help, but they need your help? And without their help, they're going to be finished. But they're so arrogant, they don't take any help from anybody. But they need to have the help. They're suffering in so many ways. So you never do anything because, now people will give me a yashar koyach. They're going to clap. Right? Just exactly the opposite of what you see in the news every single day. V'yachshov, a person should think, see, what's my goal? What's my goal? Hilagalos kevod shamayim is to reveal the honor of Hashem. So as I need tzarech lasers, I got to do what I got to do. Based on the tools and the understanding that Hashem gave me. If I succeed or not, it's totally irrelevant. And Hashem will do what is good in His eyes. And Hashem will decide what the results of my actions will be. And I don't have to worry at all what people are saying. So let's say you're a rabbi of an Orthodox shul. And you don't run the shul. You're a paid employee of the shul. And the shul now is voting on to take down the mechitza of the shul. Okay? Now, what's the rabbi going to do? What's he going to do? Well, the Yetzer is going to say, you know what? It's just, this is a very radical board. Just take it. Amir Hashem, in 2 years, there'll be a new board elected. You'll reverse the decision. You don't want to make waves. So just say, I don't approve of it, but I'm not going to talk in shul about it. Or he has to say, if the vote in the board is going to be on Sunday night, he has to speak from the pulpit on Shabbos. He has to make it absolutely clear that if they vote on that, he's out. He has to speak so strongly against it that they're all upset about it because they're destroying the shul. And then he has to, and if they don't like it and they fire him, that's the will of Hashem. That's the will of Hashem. There's no choice. You have to be so careful, though, how you do it. Because you have to remember, even though you're on the right side, you got to do it in the right way. Just because it's on God's side, so now I can come condescendingly towards people, and I don't have to respect them. No, you still have to respect them. You have to speak nicely. But you have to say, I'm really sorry, this is not acceptable according to Jewish law. Rabbi, you got to get with the times. You don't know what's going on. This is a different world. This or that. I say, I'm really sorry, but it's God's world, and this is what God feels about this. Well, Rabbi, you're having a great job. You're making a lot of money. You're going to get fired. He says, you know what? You're not the one who pays my bills. Hashem pays my bills.
Is it embarrassing to fire a rabbi?
Is it embarrassing to fire a rabbi? They do it all the time.
Yeah.
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. So that's, you got to realize, you're not doing things to win favor with people. Again, I have to repeat it again because people are going to walk out and make a mistake in this class. Oh, so I could just yell and scream and insult them and this and that because I'm on the right side. Absolutely not. You have to do it with covet and Darkecha and everything, but you have to hold your ground and say, this is the will of Hashem, and I have to teach this or say this or do this. And the truth is, and only when a person gives in a way that the inner focus is what's the main focus. That's the only way you can really strengthen your friend. If you're trying to strengthen your friend, trying to understand if he's going to like you or not, then you're not going to be able to strengthen your friend. You have to strengthen your friend by knowing, what does Hashem really want me to do exactly? And I'm not doing it because I want the guy to give me a pat on the back. You know, it's so hard. So when you're a rabbi, you have to talk in shul and talk and teach, and you're always debating, should I teach this? Should I not teach this? What are people going to think? What are they going to say? I think sometimes to know what's the Ratzon Hashem. Sometimes you aren't ready to hear a certain message, and Hashem doesn't want you to tell them the message yet. Sometimes they are, and you're afraid. You're afraid what will happen. Maybe they're not going to like it. But you have to do that. You know, that's what I pray to Hashem every day, that every decision I make with the COVID, I'm making the decision that's what Hashem wants me to decide. Because one thing's for sure, almost everybody's not happy with what I'm deciding from both ends. The ones who are more, I don't know what word to say, I don't want to say the wrong word. Ones who are more cautious think I'm not cautious enough. And the ones who are much less cautious, I'm way too cautious. So maybe a handful of people really think I'm doing the right thing. Well, I have to balance safety and davening. Ratzon Hashem. Rabbi has to give you what is Ratzon Hashem for this community. And not everybody likes to hear it at all. So that's part of the idea. You try to help everybody, and then people just, don't hear it. Oh, but if I'm going to do this, they're going to be upset. They're going to leave the shul. What's going to be? That's not your problem. It's not my problem. I got to do what I feel Hashem is right. And to make sure, I was always asking other rabbis, is this the right thing or not? Just to make sure. And then how easy it is. That's how you realize this. Very critical. Upam and a little more. Sometimes you'll help your friend. Sometimes you have to receive from your friend. And you shouldn't be willing to not get help from a friend. It's all equal. When you talk about the yearning and the unity, true unity between one person and his friend, it's all from Hashem. I think I have the right idea. Yeah, okay. So then guess what? A member decides to give me some unsolicited advice. So the biggest mistake is the knee-jerk reaction. I finally have learned, I think, over the years, never respond at the knee-jerk reaction. Always hold the response. Think it over. Maybe the person's right. Now, it just so happens most of the times they're not right, but sometimes they are. And it's very hard for a person who's the one who gives to receive. Don't you think I know what I'm doing? Don't you think I know what I'm doing? You have the chutzpah to suggest that I should be doing this or this or that. Whoa. What am I trying to? I'm just trying to. Maybe this guy, he chanced upon a good Ratzon Hashem that I didn't chance upon. You have to be willing. And somebody says, you're Taka, you're right. You're right. It's a good idea. Because sometimes you're getting a good idea and you refuse to get the good idea because what are you talking about? It wasn't my idea. That's what comes back to the arrogance. Exactly. But the other guy, and let's say the other guy is really a sincere Eved Hashem. Let's add on top of that. So a lot of times I speak to bigger rabbis. I said, I think we should do this. They said, nope. I said, what? No, you're going to do it this way. I said, I don't understand. Why am I doing it this way? He says, I got experience. You just listen to me. You do it this way. So I got to be able to. So, okay. He's trying to tell me what the will of Hashem is. He's got a little bit more experience than me. So that's why you have to be very careful to not worry what other people are saying. And also, and also it's like, can you imagine this member gave me a suggestion. He thought of something I didn't think of. Man, what are people going to think? That regular congregant knew something I didn't know? Then you start saying, well, that's not good for the rabbinate. No. You just say, it's all the will of Hashem. It's nothing to do with your covet, nothing with your gaiva. Everything in life, especially with husbands and wives. Husbands and wives where everybody thinks it's all about them. You have to make decisions, what to do with your spouse, how to respond to a spouse. It's all you have to do, the will of Hashem. And then you realize that it's not what your spouse is thinking, right? It's what Hashem is thinking. Critical point. That was Pei Aleph. So now we go to Pei Beis, this side of the page. One second. No, we're still on this page. I'm sorry. We did the footnote at the bottom, but we still have to do up on Pei Aleph, these two paragraphs over on the left side. Okay, Ki bavadai. Okay, so now we're going to tell you, certainly, tzarich le'ahov kol Yehudi. You certainly have to love every Jew. We already talked about that the first part of the book. V'lidalo, and be worried about other Jews, and be concerned about their needs. V'lios mekusherim kol Yehudim, and you have to be bound up with every Jew. Avalo ba'ofen shezeh pokeya b'avodas hapnimis, but not in a way that it should detract from your inner service of Hashem. Let's say there's another Jew and he thinks, what you're doing is foolish. He's laughing at what you're doing. Now you have to love that Jew, but you got to realize he's wrong. The Ratz Hashem is not like he's saying. So you have to, in your innermost aspect, you have to say that's nothing, it's just Hashem. So here's really tricky part. You got to love that other Jew. You got to really love him because he's a manifestation of Hashem as well. He's a Kli of Hashem. But right now he ain't acting like a Kli of Hashem. Right now he's yelling and screaming at you that you're doing something foolish, but you're doing the right thing. So you have to love the person, but in your innermost feelings, you have to know, and what he's saying doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't bother me at all. It's only Hashem. And Hashem's having him do this. Hashem is sending him to criticize me. And you have to realize that's all part of it. Or Hashem is sending him to laugh at me. And that's my challenge that Hashem is giving me at this point in time. But don't back down from something you were going to do. This is not a contradiction. Kivem is kol maila im Yisraelu. Kol malas am Yisraelu. Sorry. The whole verse of the Jewish people is Shekol Yehudi hu chelik m'Hashem Yisrael. Every Jew is a portion of God on high. Ben shalabor Yisrael, a child of God. Everyone. If that's the case, haderachi, what's the way to go? Shebifnim, in the inner focus, Yischaber im hashoresh, you should connect with the root. I'm trying to get this all together here. Bavad, connect to the root. Dahainu im Hashem Yisrael. Really, it's all Hashem. Ubechelech chitzoni yoser, and the part that's more external, Yischaber im hagiluyim, and then you'll have to deal what's revealed. Shem habonim shel Hashem Yisparach, that they are children of Hashem. In other words, you have to hold two things at the same time. This guy who's mocking your behavior as a Jew, you have to know he is a son of Hashem, and he is someone that reflects godliness, but he doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know it yet. And therefore, I got to do what deep down is the Ratz Hashem. Hashem wants me to do this. Hashem also wants me to love this Jew, even though he doesn't love himself. You got to hold both, because usually we're people who like to go one way or the other. Either you're with me or you're against me. You're mocking me. Get out of here. I don't care about you, you secular Jew. Get out of here. You're so misguided. You're wrecking up. No way, man. Usually when we have to have this self-fortitude to go against others, you feel you got to put them down at the same time. Then it becomes easier to do it. But no, what Hashem is saying is that Jew, you have to love him. You have to love him. You have to, mamish, have to love him. And you have to make sure you don't hurt his feelings and everything. But on the other hand, don't worry about what he's thinking, because it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu's what matters. So it's like you're living two worlds at the same time. And great Gedolim were able to do that. Great people. Your mom is totally focused on Hashem, and everybody else is just an external mirage that you have to deal with, but you don't take it overly seriously. That's the point in life. But if you see the outward focus is getting stronger, and what does that mean? A number of things. But now you begin to start thinking a little bit arrogance. Oh, you're worried about what people are going to say. Once you begin to feel like, run out of there as fast as possible. Because you get to the true inner quality. There is nothing but Hashem. And cling to Hashem with love and self-abnegation. What's a good example of this? We mentioned it. When did we mention it? We mentioned it sometime last week. I think it was last Shabbos. Yosef HaTzadik. It says, Vayar Hayom Vayonos. The sea saw and it ran. The Medrash says, what did the sea saw? What did the sea see? The sea saw the crypt of Yosef. So what does that have to do with anything? The answer is the sea saw that Yosef also ran. When the wife of Potiphar grabs a hold of him, he ran. Another question the commentaries ask, where did I say this? I know I said this. Was it Shalosh? Yeah, I know. I don't remember when I said it though, but I know I said it. Can't remember. But
Parashah Monday.
Maybe Parsha, whatever it was, I think, whatever. So anyway, so Ramban asked, wait a minute, you're 10 times stronger than this woman. Go grab your coat back. You know what's going to happen if you leave your coat behind? She's going to do what she did. She cried rape, and he got himself in jail. But Yosef, because he was a little bit attracted to her, a little bit, he couldn't deny he was attracted. But he knew the Ratzon Hashem is get the heck out of here. And that's what he's saying. But any time that you see that the outward is getting a little hold of you, he says that's the most dangerous time. 1 second too long could be 1 second too late. And therefore, what does he do? I'm out of here. Yeah, but what are they going to think? What are they going to say? Doesn't matter what they're going to think. What they're going to say. If I make one more second and I make one big boo-boo, I'm finished.
Monday night's class.
Monday night class. I don't remember. Let's not waste time. I remember when I said it. I know to dot, but whatever. Whatever. So anyway, so he left, and now we see that he didn't worry. So then the sea said, I'm going to split for that guy. I'm going to split for that guy. That's the critical thing. Because so as soon as you see, just get out of there, get out of that place. You think the guy, you're worried what that guy says, just get out of that place. Get out of that place. Just say, he's a wonderful Jew. He's Tzelem Elokim. He's misguided. I got to get out of here. Guys talking Lashon Hara at a wedding. Man, Corona saved us from so many things, but it's put us into a lot of other bad places.
Wow.
Have you ever been in a wedding lately in the last year where people talk Lashon Hara at your table?
No, not one.
Now what happens? The person that's talking Lashon Hara is a rabbi. But you just learned this morning because you listened in the shir. It's exactly the case that the Chafetz Chaim said he cannot say this. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got to pretend nobody else is in the room. I'm going to tell this rabbi that he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, everyone's going to mamish give it to me. You have to figure a way. You can't escape. So what do? You go, oh, Rabbi, you just reminded me of something. It's really important. Can I go outside with you for just 1 minute? I have to ask you something. and then privately say, I don't know, but I think I heard in my shir today that this is Lashon Hara. I'm just trying to double check. Chas v'shalom, I don't want to take away from your cover. And what's he going to think about you? Doesn't matter. You gotta run. You can't just sit there and say, what are people going to think? Very important. Okay, Gimel. Oh man, the third and final section is there. Haderech lahashpia b'li gaiva hi bittul. So how are you able to give to others without becoming arrogant? Isn't a natural tendency once you are able to be an influencer that you do become arrogant? You see what you're doing. So you need bittul, which was last week's topic. Vinay, misha mashpia lachem, one who influences others or gives to others. Bein baruch neyas. Whether it's in spirituality where you're teaching Torah or fear of Hashem, or whether it's in physical things, you're giving tzedakah or whatever. Azai then b'shas hashpot, the time that you are giving, yesh sakona shaliskabras is the greatest danger that your arrogance is going to well up. Because you're saying, look what I was able to do. It's not enough to just cling to Hashem and figure that Hashem is nearby, that we mentioned yesterday or 2 days ago. It's not enough. Shemargi says Hashem is that just feel that Hashem's with you. You must go to bittul and totally self-negate yourself. You got to feel like you're mamish nothing. Now, the difference between bittul and dveikus, we'll see in the next chapter that we're going to learn either tomorrow or next week, where the whole chapter is dveikus. So we got to see what's the difference between dveikus and bittul. Okay, bittul, we'll kind of say in a simple way, bittul is like the lo sase. It's the negative, and dveikus is the positive. That's a simple way to say it. But now, dveikus isn't going to always work. If you really think you're giving and you're feeling that gaiva, go right to zero tolerance, bittul. These gabralachs, you have to string yourself and think, I'm giving a class. You know, somebody's giving a class and you really know you're on your game. Sometimes you're giving a drush or you're teaching, your mamish, you're hitting all the points, you're hitting all the cylinders, and you see the crowd is into it, and your mamish feels good, and the Yisr wants you to feel boastful. So while you're doing it, you have to pause and say, I know every line that's coming out of my mouth is coming out of Hashem, and it's not coming from me at all. Any movement, or I'm a writer. And every letter I write in the book, it's not mine. It's only a tool for Hashem's light. That has to go into my friend. I have a job to put the light into my friend. And you have to feel like Moshe Rabbeinu at Sinai, that the Shekhinah was talking through your throat. It's not you. Hashem is giving the most amazing class. Hashem just gave me this great insight. Someone's in the middle of class. It happens once in a while. I get this blitz. All of a sudden, this great idea. Whoa, wow, what a fine rabbi I am. I got this great idea. I always say to myself, look, and I try to say, and Hashem just gave me this idea. You heard me someone else say it. Hashem just gave me this great idea. Why'd I do that? So I won't be so arrogant, because I will be arrogant. How can you not be arrogant when you come with this amazing shot? Well, you got to be honest. How could I think of such a good shot? I'm not that smart. Hashem came up with it. You have to feel you have no concept at all or ability to give over. I have nothing to give over. I have nothing to give over. But since the will of Hashem is to give, therefore I stand myself up as a utility for the light of Hashem. If Hashem wants me out of heaven, that's if you're giving tzedakah. Anything you're giving, you have to realize it's not me. I don't have the money. I didn't give anything. Not the time I'm giving. Person needs your time. Nothing. It's all Hashem. And that's all before you start doing it. Now, again, he's going to continue. We have to stop, but we're going to finish up with the bittul sandwich again. But when you're doing it, you got to give it everything you have. So we got to end it there. Sorry, I couldn't quite finish the chapter and the section. Mirza Hashem, tomorrow we'll do that and start the next section.
Thank you, Rabbi.
What's that?
Thank you.
Thank you.